Perhaps one of the most shocking consequences to arise from Tom's new PR strategy was Paramount's decision in August 2006 to part ways with its most lucrative star after a 14-year partnership.
Who would have pulled out of the mix that Tom Cruise's film company was going to dump him? I mean, yeah, okay, he had a few flops, but boy, he'd made him, I mean, not millions, billions of dollars over the last 20 years. And then he runs onto opera and starts jumping up and down like a bloody chimpanzee on EAT.
The Paramount deal fell down, according to Tom Cruise, because he pulled out with his producing partner, but according to Paramount, because of the antics off-screen of Tom Cruise, just damaging his image and therefore the box office, basically.
When Sumner Redstone very publicly fired Tom Cruise from Paramount, it was really unprecedented because, these people stick together. You don't get someone, slagging off a major celebrity in public the way Sumner did.
It was an extraordinary thing to happen. I mean, if it had been done silently and quietly and discreetly, I don't think any harm would have been done at all. But the way Sumner Redstone came out with personal abuse meant that, it made people think, good God, maybe Tom Cruise is all the things that Redstone says of him. And it made other people think that maybe he wasn't as bankable as he had once been.
Everybody loves to build up a star so you can tear them down. And Tom had been built up so much. Part of his problem was that they had created such a godlike aura about this guy that was invincible, that people just thrived on tearing him down. So when this happened, Sumner Redstone basically just fired Tom, as if to say, most people thought, well, look, sorry, if you're going to be badly behaved, we don't need you to fight the millions.
I think really it was a situation where Sumner Redstone thought that Tom Cruise was losing his base. He insulted women. When he went after Brooke Shields and made a whole issue about her taking drugs for postpartum depression, he felt that Tom was starting to alienate his core viewership, which are women, love him. And then they started to hate him.
The story was put about that women didn't like Tom Cruise and wouldn't like Tom Cruise because he was so unpleasant about, a vulnerable mother. I think it was a business deal.
Tom's box office power is not what it used to be. I mean, ultimately, I think the Sumner Redstone decision to fire Tom Cruise was a business decision. I mean, Mission Impossible 3 did not do as well as they hoped. War of the Worlds also didn't really do as well as they hoped. I think that there was some question about Tom's ability to open a film because of his public perception.
When he did, I think it was Mission Impossible 3, the producers fell out with him because they reckoned he'd knocked off the potential box office $150 million because of his outbursts and sofa jumping and what have you. And a survey in US Today came out which said that 51% of his fans decided not to go because they found him cold and had actually boycotted that film. Now you're in trouble. You do what you want if you're Tom Cruise and you can still make money at the box office. When you're knocking $150 million off, then you're going to start having to make your own films.
Tom wasn't going to go quietly and had already started face-saving negotiations to head up United Artists, where he and business partner Paula Wagner would have free rein to develop and produce their own slate of multi-million-dollar earning film projects.
He was obviously in negotiations to revive the studio, United Artists, and to become the head of that studio. And he was quietly going along with that. And he announced that, 10 days after his sacking.
I think United Artists as an idea is interesting because it goes back to the idea of what that studio was about, and it was to give stars freedom from the studios. Back in sort of Mary Pickford and Charlie Chaplin's day, they would have to do a long studio contract and not have much choice about what they did, and it was almost a symbolic gesture saying, well, if you drop me, don't worry, I will be working in a much better place who understands what I do. We'll have to see what they do next, really, because it may be a kind of shell name, if you like. They may never get around to making anything big.
Coming up, Tom and Nicole's chemistry fizzles out, and Tom's sexuality comes under scrutiny.
Tom Cruise has been dogged by rumors and innuendo of homosexuality throughout his career. Now, Tom has adamantly said that he is heterosexual and will sue anyone who says otherwise.
Tom's personal life has rarely been splashed across the front pages. Never have we seen reports of debauched nights out or any details of sordid affairs. His relationships have been heavily constructed when it comes to how they are played out to the press, and Tom has exercised calculating control over who he is seen with and when. With a penchant for plucking his leading ladies out of near obscurity, Tom is left free to mould them into perfect showbiz partners.
He saw Nicole Kidman in a film called Dead Calm, an Australian film, and took a bit of a liking to her, and he made contact and asked her to come and see him. He was about to make Days of Thunder, and he met with her and he said, "You're very good, you've got the part." What was strange about that was there was no part in Days of Thunder, so one was rapidly written for her to be a brain surgeon in a hospital, which is slightly strange since she was about 19 or 20 at the time.
Following the completion of filming for Days of Thunder, Tom and Nicole had a very low-key wedding on December the 24th, 1990, and his new bride was soon groomed and ready for superstardom.
I think Nicole's reputation benefited from being Tom's wife and partner. They were Hollywood royalty. They were always on red carpets together. When they adopted children, it made big news. Everything they did made news.
It was a relationship done in body language, though, because when they first got together, they used to do these magnificent poses, completely loved up, pushed in against one another, perfect Hollywood couple. They used to use a lot of tie signs when they were together on the red carpet that I always found quite amusing to watch. They would walk out together and walk round together, but if you look closely, you could see Tom tapping her on the hip. And these are tie signs, they're small signals that a couple will use to communicate. So although in the surface it looked as though they'd just kind of come out to the crowd and then posed a bit and then walked away, most of it was being choreographed by Tom. Sort of like, I'm sure it was like one tap for stand here, one tap for smile, and then 3 taps we're going in now. And they absolutely moved like ballroom dancers because of that. Around the Eyes Wide Shut era, when they made that big movie together, there started to be an imbalance. Nicole would often joke around with Tom, and it was as though sometimes she was trying to get him to look at her and kiss her on the red carpet and everything like that. But he seemed to be doing this very big laugh and ducking away slightly.
No, I mean, working with Stanley Kubrick was extraordinary. And,
You're pointing the question.
you go.
I'm not answering it either. Eyes Wide Shut was the film that generated speculation about what was going on in Tom and Nicole's relationship off camera. Having already made poorly received films such as Far and Away and Days of Thunder together, the couple's on-screen chemistry left a lot to be desired.
The first kind of rumours that there was something wrong was around the time they were filming Eyes Wide Shut in London. It was a 2-year shoot. It went on for a long time. There was rumours that the house they were renting in London, they had separate bedrooms in.
Tom clamped down on further rumours by threatening legal action. However, this did not quell further speculation that their marriage was a sham. Their decision to adopt 2 children rather than have their own added fuel to the fire.
The fact that they were married for 10 years and adopted 2 children and didn't have any of their own just gave rise to rumours about his sexuality, her sexuality, their fertility. I mean, very prurient rumours, but these are the kind of things that people talk about over the garden fence, so of course you can't blame journalists for talking about it either.
They had the